If you're new to Canva or still finding your way around, you're in the right place. In this training, we're going to walk through some foundational steps to help you create graphics and marketing materials in Canva that look polished and professional, even if you're just getting started. Canva can feel a bit overwhelming when you're figuring it all out, but my goal is to make the process feel approachable and achievable. So we're going to focus on some key principles that will set you up for success as you learn the ropes of Canva. Ultimately, becoming successful at using Canva in your business means that you are no longer creating random graphics or marketing materials that just look pretty, but instead you begin to use Canva in an organized and brand consistent way. I know that most of you are likely not designers, and creating graphics in Canva isn't necessarily your passion, and for some of you, it might feel like a chore. You may be finding yourself making endless revisions, spending hours on creating a lead magnet or checklist for your business that should take 15 to 30 minutes if you knew what to do. I want to take what can feel like a chore for many people and make it feel as easy and enjoyable as possible for you. So let's get into the meat of today's presentation. And today I'm going to be talking about 4 keys to creating professional looking, consistently on brand graphics and marketing materials in Canva. Key number 1 is choose the right Canva plan for your needs. If you want a way to create graphics and marketing materials in Canva that look consistently more polished, branded, and professional, you're going to have to really think about whether it's time to upgrade to Canva Pro. Yes, you 100% can use Canva's free subscription for many of the uses you'll have. And even if you never upgraded to Pro, you'll still find a tremendous amount of value in Canva's capabilities. However, in order to have the ability to create the most professional looking graphics possible in the most efficient way possible, you may find yourself running into repeated instances where you need Pro to achieve the marketing goals that you have for your business. There are quite a lot of differences between the plans, and there is a complete breakdown available on Canva's pricing page, which you'll find at canva.com/pricing. But some of the biggest differences that I think make it worth investing in as a business owner include the ability to set up and use the Canva brand kit feature, which includes the ability to upload your own custom fonts. You won't have access to the brand kit feature on a free Canva plan, whereas on a pro plan, you can create up to 1,000 brand kits. Access to Canva's entire premium stock library. That includes not just photos, but also all sorts of icons and illustrations, video and audio. I know that a lot of the icons that I have used in social media designs and various worksheets have all been part of that premium library. Access to the entirety of Canva's template library. You do have access to a wide variety of templates on the free plan, but significantly more on Pro, which will give you far more flexibility in terms of designing great-looking content in Canva. You can only download designs with a transparent background in the Pro version. This is going to be important if you're creating a graphic in Canva that needs to have a transparent background without a white square behind it. So for example, if you're creating an icon or illustration that you want to blend seamlessly onto your website, or if you're using Canva to create a logo, this will be important as well. And finally, a variety of the Magic Studio features in Canva are only available on Canva Pro, including Magic Resize. Magic Resize enables you to quickly resize a design into new dimensions with a single click. For example, if you wanted to quickly copy an Instagram image into a different sized image. Without this resizing ability, you'll have to recreate each image, so this is a huge time saver. So ask yourself, how much is your time worth? Consider how much time you'll be clawing back that you can use to focus on tasks in your business that make you money or that you just really love to spend time doing. At the end of the day, I don't like to spend money on things that don't hold value for me, so I would definitely recommend that you try out the Pro features for yourself to see if the value is there for you before you spend any money on it. So let's move on to the second Canva success key, which is to get organized. And I know this is a big source of stress for a lot of folks. You're in luck because it is my favorite thing on the planet to talk about. In addition to being a Canva verified expert, I'm also a former professional organizer who specialized in organizing paper and filing systems. So this is my sweet spot. I don't want you to just be relying on using the recent designs list on your homepage, because while it might feel manageable with just a handful of designs, if you suddenly had hundreds of designs to sort through, perhaps certain designs with multiple versions, then it will get very difficult very quickly to find what you're looking for. If you've never created folders before in your Canva account, you can do so by using the Add New button. Now, if you're new to Canva, it's the perfect time to set up your system before you get to the point of feeling overwhelmed by all of your designs and images. And if you're already a veteran user of Canva, you may be feeling like it's already out of control, but I promise you that you can still create a system and get things back on track. It is never too late. At the end of the day, you're going to want to create folders that make sense for you. And ultimately, the most important thing is that you have a home for everything, and then you stick to using that system consistently once it's working for you. For example, maybe you'll have a folder for your social media graphics that you've created, and that folder might be broken down into various subfolders for each social platform, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. I definitely want to encourage you to create a custom folder system to organize your images as well. So one of your custom folders might be called Photos, and then broken down into categories that make sense for you. For example, you could have a styled stock photo folder that is broken down by source website, and then further broken down into subfolders by subject matter or color palette. Whatever works best for you to intuitively browse and find it in the future when you need a particular image. A lot of people don't realize that you do not have to store all of your images in the Uploads folder. And to be honest, I would strongly advise against doing that because it just becomes a bottomless pit of images that makes it practically impossible to find what you're looking for over time. I do organization VIP days, and I have seen Canva Uploads folders with so many images in them that the account holder had re-uploaded the same image half a dozen times because they couldn't find any of the other times they'd uploaded it. I'm going to encourage you to think about your Uploads folder like the in tray on a physical office desk. Use it as a temporary holding place, and once you've used an image, file it away into an images folder system. And then when you're working on a design in the Canva Design Editor, you can access your folders through the Projects tab in your left-hand editor navigation. And you'll be able to much more easily find the specific image you're looking for without wasting a ton of time. If organizing your Canva account feels overwhelming, be sure to check out my free Canva organization roadmap, which will provide a step-by-step guide to help you kickstart the creation of your own Canva filing system. Let's talk about the third key, and that is you need to create your Canva brand kit. And I will highlight up front that this is a Canva Pro feature and won't be accessible on a free Canva account. Knowing how to use the brand kit in Canva is typically the focal point of a lot of what I teach in Canva. And the reason I focus a lot of time on this component is because I believe it is so central to being able to create consistently branded graphics in Canva that look professional and unique to your business. Now, I am making a bit of an assumption here that you already have some sort of visual branding in place, and you're in a position where you simply need to carry that into Canva so you can utilize it across your marketing materials. And I'm going to talk about what components you'll need to add into Canva and how to do that. That said, if you don't already have some sort of visual branding set up, I will also touch on a few resources in Canva to help you create your visual brand assets if you're not in a position to hire a graphic designer at this time. So let's take a bit of a step back. What is a brand kit in general, and what goes in it? In Canva's words, a brand kit is a short, easily digestible guide to your brand's visual identity. It assigns a visual identity to your business, which makes it more easily recognizable. And the reason that's important is because a brand must be recognizable in order to develop loyalty and build trust. A brand kit is a foundational step towards building that loyalty and trust, such that people come to trust you enough to want to do business with you. So in a nutshell, there are 6 elements of a brand style guide. First is your brand voice, which is your style of communication. It's the way you talk to your customers. So, for example, the types of words and phrases that you use or that you avoid, the tone you use, and so on. For example, my own brand voice is always straightforward, helpful, hopeful, and positive, and it is never, ever snarky or negative. Next is your brand story, which would include your business's mission, vision, audience, personality, values, and so on. And then we get into the more visual elements, including your logo, your color palette, your typography, and your imagery. So let's take a look at each of these brand components. You'll want to make sure that you upload your logo as well as any variations of it. For example, if you have it in both a vertical and horizontal orientation, a reverse logo, any icon elements or monograms or illustrative components. So for example, I don't usually like to use my full logo on my social graphics, but for those I will use just the B icon. Now, if you are new to business, some of you may have started using Canva to begin with because you want to be able to use it to create a logo. I truly believe that once you are ready to take the next step with your branding, it's very worthwhile to invest in hiring a graphic designer or branding specialist to help you. But I know that not all businesses are ready to take that step right out of the gate. So you can use Canva if you want to create a logo to market yourself, but it's important to understand some of the limitations when you're doing that. I want to draw your attention in particular to this area on one of Canva's licensing pages regarding creating logos that you can register as a trademark. And it says, in creating a unique logo in Canva from scratch, you can use basic lines and shapes from our free library. You can also use all of our fonts. However, you can't use stock content, e.g. photos and graphics, as we only give you a non-exclusive license to this. Other Canva users are free to use the same content, which means that using stock content for your logos isn't suitable for use in a trademark. Elements in a logo need to be exclusive to you. In other words, if you want to have a logo that you can officially register as a trademark, you can't use the icons or illustrations that you find in Canva's Elements library, but you can use fonts and basic shapes and lines. Or if you have a graphic that has been custom created for you to create your logo, then you can absolutely upload that into Canva as well, and that would also be trademarkable. Alternately, if you're just starting out and you're not worried about having exclusive rights, and if you don't have the time or budget to design a unique logo, using one of Canva's logo templates can definitely be a simple way to create some basic branding to market yourself. But it's important to understand that you won't be able to trademark it. So let's assume that you do want to create a logo in Canva. If you go to the templates area of Canva and search for logo templates, you will find quite a lot of them to use as a starting point. But ultimately, you'll find a template that you like and then customize the contents of the design to fit your own name and desired branding. So for example, something like this logo template would be a very simple one to customize the text and font if you just wanted to have a personal brand logo consisting of stylized initials plus your name. Or if you wanted something with a more illustrative component, you'll likely be able to find a starting point as well. Once you have your logo ready to upload into Canva, make sure that the version you're adding has a transparent background so it looks more seamless on your designs in Canva. You can see a logo here on the left that does not have a transparent background. It has a white box behind it, and that's because it was uploaded as a JPEG file. And then the one on the right side has a transparent background so it blends more seamlessly into the design. So if you do create your logo in Canva, make sure to download it with a transparent background. You'll need the Pro account to be able to download your logo with a transparent background, as this option isn't available on Canva's free plan. When you have your logos ready to upload, you can do that in this logos area of your brand kit, but a reminder that the brand kit feature is also a Canva Pro or Teams feature only, so if you're on a free subscription, you won't have access to this area at all. If you do take advantage of that free trial I mentioned earlier, even if you decide not to upgrade to the paid version, if you did create a brand kit during the trial, the content you add into your brand kit will still be there waiting for you if you do decide to upgrade later on. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you always have all of your logo versions easily at hand. No need to hunt for the right version or to waste time. It's just there waiting for you when you need it. You'll also want to set up your brand's color palette, and then it's going to be really important moving forward that you stick to just using your brand colors. I know that some of you may feel that's stifling your creativity, but in reality, it reduces confusion and overwhelm. Not just for you, because you don't have to make extra choices about what colors to use. You can just stick with your set brand palette, but also for your audience. If you stick to your brand palette, it's going to create a sense of cohesiveness across all of your graphics. It'll feel less visually cluttered, and it'll result in much less brand confusion for those who follow you. If you don't yet have a brand kit and you're not in a position to hire a graphic designer or brand designer, Canva has options for you. Try searching in Canva's template library for a brand board template, and you'll get lots of results to use as inspiration for your own brand colors. And then once you have your brand color values ready to add, you'll be able to add those to your brand kit in this colors area. And you'll see how I've added a very specific 6-character color hex value for each color to ensure I always use my precise color values and not just an approximation. Next up is your typography or your font choices. You should be using a consistent set of fonts, not only in your Canva designs, but also on your website and any other marketing materials that you use. And if we go back to those brand board template results I showed you regarding colors, they also include suggested fonts. So this might be helpful for you as well. For example, here's one of the brand board templates, and you can see that it has included a suggested font combination. Your brand fonts will need to have a visual hierarchy set up for them. So for example, you should have one font treatment for your headings, another for your subheadings, another for body copy, and so on. And with the 2023 updates to the brand kit, you can now also set a wider selection of font styles, including title, subtitle, section header, quote, and caption. I still strongly advise only having a maximum of 3 fonts in use in your designs, but for example, your titles might be a different sizing than your headings, while your captions might be the same font as your body copy, but smaller and always in italics. The specifics of your font formatting will depend on your unique brand kit. Once you've established your fonts and font hierarchy, you can add that into your Canva brand kit, but this is another place you'll potentially run into limitations if you aren't on a pro account. Unfortunately, on the free Canva account, in addition to not being able to access the brand kit feature, you're also not able to upload fonts, which becomes problematic if your brand fonts aren't included in the free fonts that Canva provides. So there's another incentive to give the pro subscription a try. If you have a set of brand fonts, you can give yourself permission to ignore all of those beautiful fonts that you may have collected in the past or that you may be seeing across the social channels of other businesses. But as pretty as all those fonts may be, if they aren't part of your brand fonts, you should not be using them in your graphics and marketing materials if you want to create consistently on-brand images. The final piece of your Canva brand kit is your brand imagery, and Canva now enables you to add brand photos, graphics, and icons into your brand kit as well. Brand photos is fairly self-explanatory, but a few examples may include photos from brand photo shoots, your headshots, or even styled stock imagery that you use regularly for your designing. Then we have brand graphics, which you may or may not have. Those could include patterns, textures, and illustrations that you use as part of your branding and design. And finally, brand icons, again, which you may or may not have. Once you have all your brand kit elements in place in your Canva account, you'll want to consistently use them on all of your future social graphics and marketing materials. And by doing so, it makes using Canva so much easier and more efficient to create new graphics because you'll already have a guide of what to use and what not to use. As a small business owner, you're likely in a position where you need to create at least some, if not all, of your social graphics and online marketing designs. Or if you're a course creator, you likely already know that you need to create a wide variety of course materials. But you're likely wasting too much time inside of Canva, trying to create your social media images and lead magnets when you would rather be promoting your business or your digital course. So I want to invite you to shift your mindset about how you approach Canva. Please take the pressure off of yourself. You do not have to design from scratch. I officially give you permission to never have to create a design from scratch again. No more staring at a blank Canva design editor page. Use templates. Templates are your best friend, and you have so many of them out there to choose from. There is zero judgment if you don't create from scratch. In fact, it is often the very best decision you could make in terms of your Canva time. So why is a template so helpful? First, they can save a ton of frustration. If design isn't your zone of genius, having to create from scratch may leave you wanting to tear your hair out, burst into tears, or throw your computer out the window. It's how I feel if I have to do my own accounting, which is why I haven't done my own accounting in many years. Next, it saves so much time. Otherwise, you could spend hours creating a design. Back to that, how much is your time worth question. Using a template frees you up to work on the roles and tasks in your business that make you money and that fall within your own zone of genius. It often results in creating a more professional-looking design because it is designed by a professional designer who understands layout, balance, spacing, and so on. And I know you're looking to create content in Canva that looks less DIY and more professional, so this can be a massive shortcut to achieving that goal. And finally, templates can also provide you with plenty of inspiration for how to use Canva in ways that you hadn't previously thought of. For example, you may see elements combined in ways that you wouldn't have thought of to do yourself. Let's talk about what it looks like when you customize templates for your own branding. It's important to understand that not all templates will work for every brand. And part of the fun of using Canva is the experimenting and playing and figuring out what feels like a fit for your brand. But you do need to ensure you choose a template design that is at least generally in line with the aesthetic of your branding. For example, a template like this is never going to be one that I choose to start with because I don't use shapes like this in my branding. To make it usable for my visual brand, I'd need to delete all of the shapes and then I'm not left with much of a design. So I might as well choose something else to start with. Similarly, I wouldn't start with a template like this because while it's not using any funky shapes in it, it's meant to work with a dark, bold background, which is also not consistent with my own visual brand. I could still customize this and end up with something that looked professional, but if you choose something that has a very different aesthetic to begin with than your own visual brand, it's easy to end up losing the look and feel that you were attracted to in the first place. So when you are looking for a template for your marketing materials, take some care to choose something that already has the general look and feel of a design that would work well with your established visual branding. So I might start with a template like this from Canva's template library, and then by removing elements I don't need, replacing the background image, updating the text colors and formatting, and adding my own visual assets like my logo and my pattern overlay, I can turn it into this. At the end of the day, the key here is to use your brand kit in Canva and to make customization choices that are always consistent with your established visual branding. So now you know some of the important steps that you can take to be able to work in Canva with less stress and less frustration in order to be able to create graphics and course materials that look more consistently compelling, professional, and on brand. And a reminder that if you're currently on Canva's free plan and you'd like to test out their pro plan for free in order to try out some of the pro features I've highlighted, like the brand kit and magic resize, you'll find a link to that free trial below this video.